A social worker shopping left a 3-year-old in the car to die. Put it full mask. Birmingham police still have not made an arrest after a social worker left a 3-year-old child in a hot car to die following a shopping trip. Authorities identified the child as Katorius Starks Jr. He died on July 22nd after being left unattended for 5 hours in a car in which internal temperatures reached in upwards of 150 degrees that day. Attorneys for the boy's family say that Starks, who was in temporary foster care, was picked up from daycare at 9 a.m. by a social worker for a scheduled supervised visit with his father. The visit concluded at 11:30 a.m., at which point Starks was supposed to be returned to the daycare center. But Starks was never dropped off. Instead, the social worker picked up food for her family, shopped at a tobacco store, then drove to her home in Birmingham, parked in the driveway, and went inside, leaving the young Starks in the car. Chief Deputy Coroner Bill Starks estimates that Starks was left in the car from 12:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. AL.com reported this. The vehicle was not on. The windows were rolled up. There was no relation between the chief and the child. The child was found fast in his car seat, and unresponsive at 6:03 p.m. He was pronounced dead at the scene after medics were called. Quote, "This is a heartbreaking and preventable tragedy," said the family's attorney, Courtney French, per ABC 340. Quote, "With current extreme outside temperature and the heat index of 108 degrees, the interior temperature of the car where KJ was trapped likely exceeded 150 degrees," end quote. Another quote, "This is a parent's worst nightmare. Our baby should be alive," the child's parents said in a statement provided by French. You know, this is a difficult story. So I'm pacing through it. And out of full my sister died this week, and she was in the car. I can't imagine what the family's going through. But there was this supposedly responsible, trained, and competent, trusted individual whom the family said, "You are so trusted. You will be the mediator for us. You will be the liaison. We will trust you with the very thing that is most precious in our life." The employee who transported Starks has been fired, according to a DHR spokesperson. The state agency said the individual worked for Covenant Services, a company contracted by DHR. Quote, "A child in DHR custody was being transported by a contract provider when the incident occurred," a spokesperson for Alabama DHR told AL.com. while further adding, quote, the provider was terminated. The provider has terminated their employee due to confidentiality. DHR cannot comment further regarding the identity of the child or the exact circumstances, end quote. Birmingham police interviewed the employee, but no arrest was made. Joe L. Roberts, Chief Deputy District Attorney for Jefferson County, said on Friday, the results of the investigation will be submitted to the DA for any possible charges, according to the New York Times. Quote, Stark's death marks the first hot car death in Alabama since 2025. In 2025, excuse me. At least 16 children have died this year after being left in hot vehicles, according to a report by Kids and Car Safety. Make sure children are not in hot cars. I don't know why the Birmingham police did not effect an arrest. I've gone through this in my mind as to what could be some type of mitigating circumstance in an investigation that would cause a policing agency to forfeit arrest. I can't think of one. I can't think of one. The police, they're not looking for evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. The police only need a little bit of cause and effect, probable cause. Are you causation here? Are you the but-for factor? Well, it seems clear based on the exacting narrative of the police department and the exacting narrative of the agency that at the bare minimum, you're talking about a case of negligent criminality. And then you can go through the spectrum from there. But to have no arrest affected at all, don't understand that. But we will be looking into this and stay on top of it. Jackson, thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly doesn't make sense that the employee shouldn't face jail time for this because, I mean, this child was way less than an afterthought. I mean, it's not even like it was like, oh, I'm going to leave her in while I go grab something I dropped 10 feet away. You know, that's kind of like the only acceptable time it would be to leave a child in a car. If you're going to go in anywhere, you shouldn't leave them in, particularly not in the dead of summertime.
Right.
But the 5 hours, I mean, that kind of implies were they high on something? Like what were they doing for that long to where this child was just completely forgotten about? So there's no excuse for no arrest to have been made. That needs to happen. And it's just really a sad case of negligence. But I mean, this is so few people would do something like this. So it's just unfortunate that a child had to lose their life off something so rare.
Yeah. And then you have it being done by a person who has a duty of care, a higher level of responsibility, a sanctioned duty of care by law, and by profession.